All right, Coach. I know you want to want to intend with a win and still like a potential chance, for the playoff spot. But regardless, how appreciative are you for the fans showing out all season long?
That was a great turnout tonight, and I just wish we could have given them a better show tonight. Riddled with injuries, but proud of the way our guys played. They battled. Going into this game, we knew we were shorthanded, but to have opportunities in the first half, to have the lead going into halftime, you couldn't ask more from the guys. I thought our defense played well. Then just as the dominoes just kept falling, it just kept going in their advantage. We couldn't stop the bleed.
Yeah, talking about the defense, actually, in that first half, quite a few red zone stops to narrow them down to only 3 points. So, how good is that for you guys?
It's good. I mean, the stops we had, the holding the field goals. We had the ball twice inside the 4-yard line and turned it over both times. And that's just a Achilles heel for us, is not getting the job done, not crossing the goal line when defense are making plays. Offense isn't scoring. When offense is scoring, defense isn't making plays. And so, just try to get that game plan put together for Vegas, and hopefully have a better showing next week.
Yeah, and I'm sorry. And you just mentioned the injuries throughout the season. How much of a challenge was that to work for? And to follow that up, with Tripp being out, what other receivers do you feel stepped up for you guys?
We had a lot of guys show up and step. Drew Dixon's going to be our catalyst even next week, and Jerome Buckner had a good game. Just little things we got to fine tune. Braden Oakley came in, played pretty solid for us, and but at the same time, from camp on, having 2 quarterbacks go down in camp to injuries throughout the season, and it's been challenging, but I feel like it's been a pretty good coaching year for us when it comes to coaching up young kids and getting new guys in and getting into the system and teaching them. I'm proud of our coaching staff. I'm proud of our team. And I think we fought adversity a few times this season. Had some big wins, and I wouldn't mind getting one more big win in Vegas, and finishing the season out on a good note.
Yeah, and Jameis Williams also stepped up pretty big this game throughout the season, to be frank. How much of a catalyst is he on the offense?
James is a ball player. He's just a guy that he's a football player. He's a guy we want to lean on, for the future and get him the ball, get him up out of here if we can. But he's a football player, and like I said, when he came into camp, he had an uphill battle to climb. He impressed us right away in camp, and then as the season progressed, we got him the ball. I'd like to have gotten the ball a lot more than we did, but we had injuries on the defensive back side and had to put him on the defensive side. But he's a special player.
All right, and then a couple penalties that saved you guys, some drive-saving penalties that saved you guys. Specifically, the one where Drew Dixon scored that 40-yarder touchdown. How good is that for you guys?
Well, they missed a couple calls earlier. Our meetings, I pointed out some things that they do, and they didn't see it. I think those are a couple make-up calls, but we'll take them. But at the same time, we do the same thing defensively. We had them 3rd and goal in the goal line, and we called for pass interference and kept their drive going. It's just part of the game. It's human error. I don't fault the officials at all. They've got a tough job going from outdoors to indoors, back to outdoors. I think they're doing a pretty good job. But it's just part of the game. Having those calls that may or may not make or break a game. But they do a good job for the most part.
So the approach this week with one road game left.
To win, we're going in to win. We're going to find out who's healthy, who's not tomorrow and Monday. Put a game plan together to beat Vegas. I know they're well coached, got a good team over there. But at the same time, we got to come in there and give them our best show. Complete passes. We missed a touchdown pass late in the game. But it is what it is. It's human error as well. I thought what we had to work with on offense this game, losing your center, putting a defensive tackle at guard, putting a guard at center, and had many snaps at all. I thought our offense played pretty well running the ball. So I'm proud of our guys.
So, Coach, what are your first thoughts after this tough loss?
I can't say it on camera, but first thought, second thought was, well, we got in the season on a good note. We missed the playoffs this year. I'm proud of our guys. We battled. There's a handful of games I look at, 2 in particular after a bye week that we let slip. In the game at Bay Area, we had it within 3 and fumbled at the goal line. But so there's stuff to build off on for next season and for the game going forward. But the initial thought was we let the fans down. I hate losing. I don't do this to get silver lining games. I do this to go to the playoffs. It's the second year only the second time in my career as a coach I hadn't made the playoffs in 17 seasons, and so it's been disappointing. It's been a good, dig down and find out what type of coach I am, what type of coach our staff is. But we're gonna get it fixed.
So looking back, what do you think made the biggest impact in how this game was turned out?
The fumble on the 2-yard line on the bubble screen. We score there, we go up. I think that was the biggest game. That's a game-changing play after a stop by the defense, and we don't get in there. You got to have ball security. It's got to be the number one thing. And I know Braden knows better. He's a solid player for us, so he'll fix it, get it going for next week.
So last question, what do you want your player and the city of Tucson take away from this season?
Oh, we battled. I mean, we're playing in the West. The West is the toughest division in the IFL. I mean, back when the Sugar Skulls made the playoffs the last time, San Diego was dumpster juice. Bay Area was dumpster juice. Vegas was garbage. Yeah. Now those are the top 3 teams in this division, and Arizona's 4. So for us to beat Arizona twice, toe-to-toe with Bay Area and Vegas, we're right where we need to be. Next season's going to be a different atmosphere. We know what we have to be successful on the field. We got the stuff to be successful off the field. That's housing, practice facility, meals. It's just the fact we got to compete with these teams in the West that do a little bit more. So we got to get after it. In the off season, we got to recruit a little bit better and go after it harder.
Perfect. Thank you, Coach.